Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Armed American Radio's Monster Cast begins right now. How the heck are you today? On a Memorial Day weekend, we're going to move quick for you today. We have a great guest lineup. Greg in Dallas, Texas, how you doing? You know where we're at, both locations, and I'll let you do that shtick, and then I'll give you the quick guest lineup. We'll get right to it. How about it?
Yeah, sure. That works for me. Briefly, if you want to watch the show, just head over to YouTube, do a search for Armed American Radio with Mark Walters. You can also watch us over at X at AAR Mark. And, of course, as always, you can head over to armedamericanradio.org or .com, hit that menu icon, select your watch live or listen live option. Lastly, if you'd like to join our live chat, just download Telegram, create your profile, and search for Armed American Radio Conversations.
You doing good today?
I'm doing pretty good. Had to wear my floaties on the way in, but...
You got your floods on? You're wearing flooded jeans? You got your
floaties.
The high waters? That's what we called them when we were kids.
It's pretty wet out here in DFW right now.
All right, let's get cracking. We've got a full hour. We've got Warren Peterson, who is the Senate president in Arizona, going to be with us right in just a second. Alan Gottlieb following him. We haven't heard from Alan in quite some time. A lot of great news with Alan. Holly Sullivan will be here from Connecticut Citizens Defense League, fellow board member of mine at Citizens Committee for the Right to Keep and Bear Arms. And then a full hour with Arizona Representative House Judiciary Chair, the shredder himself, Quang will be here for an hour. And the third hour, we're giving the guys the night off. So that will be an encore in the roundtable today. Let's get started. Let's go to Arizona State Senate President Warren Peterson. Mr. Senator, welcome in for the first time, not to be the last time. How are you, my friend?
Doing great. Thanks for having me on the show, and thanks for fighting for our Second Amendment rights.
Oh, man, it's easy to do, isn't it?
It is. It's right there in the Bill of Rights. It should be so obvious.
But it's not, though, is it? There's so many people, and I always refer. I'm very familiar with Arizona politics, sir. I've been on the House floor as a guest of Representative Quang Nguyen, and I've met. I do not believe that you and I have met, but we will do that. We'll take care of that soon enough. And I'm always telling listeners, Arizona is widely regarded as the most gun-friendly state in the country, but you guys are fighting the fight every single day. So let's combine that with the election coming up, because early voting begins in Arizona 1 month from today. And this election, with as close as it is, my gosh, Arizona, we've got to help. Okay, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's amazing. Arizona is one of the most friendly Second Amendment states in the country. However, people don't realize this. A lot of people don't know this, but we lost our executive, governor's race, AG, Secretary of State, and we've just had a small majority, a 1-vote, 2-vote majority in the legislature. And so, we've been protecting these rights literally by a thread. Things are looking good this fall for us to retake Arizona. We've added 100,000 Republicans, nice. And the governor's race was decided by 17,000 votes. And then the race I'm in, I'm candidate for Attorney General. The race I'm running, it was decided by 280 votes out of 3 million people. So we've added 100,000 Republicans. If we can get out the vote, especially our Second Amendment supporters, and I'm honored to be the only Second Amendment endorsed candidate in this race, we will absolutely take the governor's race back. We'll take back the AG's office. And, this is really critical for Second Amendment rights. I don't know if you guys, of course, recall what was going on in Minnesota during, the just out-of-control riots and so forth in Minnesota. Our crazy AG, who hates the Second Amendment, said, our Second Amendment laws are so combustible, was the word she used, that you could shoot an ICE agent. And so, she's referring to our stand your ground laws, which are wonderful, and a lot of states have, followed our stand your ground laws. Well, our AG is terrible. She loses in court all the time because she's wrong in the facts and the laws. She would have read the whole law. She'd realize that there is an exception, and that's for law enforcement. So I literally went on the radio, social media, ended up on the Sean Hannity show, just letting America know, if you shoot an ICE agent in Arizona, you're going to be prosecuted for murder. We're not going to allow Arizona to turn into Minnesota. We're not going to have this crazy leadership. We pushed back, and fortunately we've had no incidents here.
Question for you. and I don't know, I really truly don't. It always baffles me when I look at states like New Mexico and I look at Colorado and I look at Montana as a great example, although there's been some changes there with Tester out, et cetera. How does such a state with, I mean, look, I've said this for years. I'm a huge fan of Arizona. I get there all the time. Been to Tombstone 35 times. I'm an honorary citizen of the town. I've broadcasted this show there multiple times. This is a state built on the gun. Literally built on the gun. How does this happen in Arizona? I mean, if you can answer that for me.
Here's how it happens, and you see this in a lot of really well-run states. We have 200. We've been passing all these wonderful policies, including Second Amendment laws, free markets, low taxes, pro-business, pro-family. And what happens is Arizona has 200 people that move here every single day.
California.
200 people a day. Yes. The problem is they're coming from California, they're coming from Illinois, and they're coming from New York. And you and I both know what the majority voter composition is coming from those states. And the problem is many of them come here, they leave because of the high taxes, they leave because of the crime, they leave because their Second Amendment rights are infringed. But when they get here, they don't realize, the Democrats that come over, they don't realize that if they vote Democrat, that means they're going to lose, they're going to turn our state into the very state that they left. And so that is, part of the phenomena. We have been fortunate, though, and we've been doing a really good job of getting out the vote. Plus, Democrat Party's at an all-time low for popularity right now. So this should be a cycle where we can, take back the executive, fix our election laws, and keep Arizona red for 100 years.
Oh, I hope you're right. We refer to that here as I'm sure you've heard it before, but it's the Californication of anywhere they go. They just Californicate everywhere. And one of our main goals, I'm working very closely with an organization that I know you've spoken at a number of times. I've spoken there as well. I just don't think our paths have crossed yet. They will soon enough. And that's AZCDL, a fantastic gun rights organization that you know well. The importance, ladies and gentlemen, please join AZCDL as you hear us talk about this. You do not need to live there. We need the strength in numbers to keep what happened in Virginia from happening in Arizona with it so close. That's why we've got to win this election. Is that a fair statement?
Absolutely. Yeah, Mike Infanzone, he's a great guy, represents extremely well for the Second Amendment. Just anytime you're in Arizona, just come to the second floor of the Arizona Senate. Tell them the Senate president told you I wanted to see you, and I'd love to connect with you the next time you're here in Arizona.
It won't be long from now. I was just out there in February, and I had a great invite from Quang to go back to the House and Senate. Unfortunately, my schedule was so packed I was unable to get there, but I'm looking forward to that. Greg, make a note of that, would you please? I just did as well. So let's talk briefly a little bit. But, when I look at, Quang's reputation. I know you guys are good friends, as I am. He's going to be here in the next hour for the silent hour. We call him the Shredder. I've seen the Shredder. I've watched it in action. And it just shocks me that in a great state like Arizona, he will shred 20, 30 bills a session. They just won't stop, will they, Mr. Senator? They just won't give up.
No, absolutely. And sadly, human nature is people don't respond until it's too late, or they don't take action until it's too late. They don't recognize, nobody appreciates. You have a wonderful by the way, I used to be the judiciary chairman, and Quang has now stepped up, and he's the Shredder. I used to be the Shredder, but people just do not appreciate how we are killing all these terrible bills, all these Second Amendment bills. Quang takes care of that in the House. I do what I can to take care of that in the Senate. We do have a good judiciary chairman in the Senate, so she pretty much handles all of that. And these races are so close. Like I said, 280 votes. And for some reason, I keep hearing the statistic that gun owners aren't there are lots of gun owners aren't registered, and they're very low on turnout. It blows my mind, because this is like the Second Amendment is one of the most partisan issues there is. The only state I know of where there's Democrats that support the Second Amendment is Alaska. I think every other state,
you're right.
They just don't. And it's not like don't. It's a religion. They religiously go after it.
Sir, we're getting ready to take our break, and we're going to have to cut this segment off. I'm going to invite you back right now publicly, so we'll have you back on. I'll be reaching out to you very, very soon, within the next week, because I want to bring you back with some more time. And the website is votewarren.com. Did I get it right real quick?
It's petersonforag.com.
Oh, petersonforag.com. Petersonforag.com. Thank you, Mr. Senator. We appreciate it. Looking forward to meeting you and having you back on the show soon. Guys, we'll be back with Alan Gottlieb, founder of the Second Amendment Foundation. Don't go away. Yes, indeed. Welcome back to the show. As I said, we're going to rock solid packed lineup for you on your Memorial Day weekend. Hope you're all having a great weekend. And remember what Memorial Day is all about. I usually tell the story from my family, and I know you've all got stories. Everybody has stories of heroes in their families in this country's history, and mine is no different than yours and vice versa. If I have time, I will do that in the fourth segment of this hour when I have the segment to myself to talk with you directly. Let's go right now to one of my closest friends in the world, just the legend. My kids call him the Savage. You know him, the OG, Alan Gottlieb himself. Mr. Gottlieb, welcome in. How are you today, my friend?
I'm great, Mark. Thank you very much for having me on today. I greatly appreciate it.
Well, thank you for being here on a holiday weekend. I do appreciate it very much. And, I get a lot of questions. Where's Alan been? Where's Alan been? I said, hey, we're giving Alan a break. He'll be here soon enough. So we're going to move quick with you. The segment flies right by. You and I have a couple, three things we want to cover. And that, Alan, of course, being, let me just lay this out for you, ladies and gentlemen, where we're going. But that's the recent win in the Second Circuit in New York, the Virginia suit that SAF is spearheading in federal court with the NRA and the FPC. And, of course, now the newest amicus filed by the SAF in Maryland. This is nonstop action, Alan. We are on a roll. And, I mean, we're watching positive changes as far as I'm concerned. We're seeing everything change right before our eyes. Let's talk about it. The microphone is yours, sir.
Okay, I want to apologize. When we talked earlier, I emailed you. It's not an amicus brief that we filed with the U.S. Supreme Court. It's actually another case at the United States Supreme Court.
Correct.
Actually, a cert petition. But before I get into that, there's two things I just want to cover real quickly, if I can. The Citizens Committee for the Right to Keep and Bear Arms next Saturday, May 30th, is holding a New England Firearms Advocacy Conference just outside of Boston. There's still a few seats left, so if some of your listeners in that area of the country would like to attend, they can get tickets for it at CCRKBA.org/FAC. That's CCRKBA.org/FAC. It's an action-packed conference with 20 key speakers. John Lott's going to be speaking at it as an example of who your listeners are very familiar with. And so I just wanted to get that out. And then one other real quick thing, because I got visited last week on Friday, Ray Skagen, one of your really great listeners, who's the former retired assistant chief of police in the city of Seattle, came by the Second Amendment Foundation and left us a very generous donation for our legal activities. And I want to acknowledge him and let you know you've got a former police chief in the city of Seattle who's one of your main listeners forever.
Yeah, Ray's a hero, man.
Ray's a hero. I just wanted to let you know that.
Thank you, Ray.
Now going to those three legal entity things we're talking about. Our Second Circuit victory in the Christensen case, we won that at the court level, and it was on appeal by the state of New York. Letitia James just took it in the shorts. The appeals court ruled in our favor, and the so-called vampire rule in New York, saying that you can't, even if you're licensed to carry, you can't have a gun on private property that's open to the general public, like a supermarket or a gas station. That's stricken down at the appeals court level now, and I doubt if New York's going to try to appeal that to the U.S. Supreme Court. So that should be a final decision, and that anti-gun law in New York is now ashes. The other thing with Virginia, we're spearheading a case in federal court against their latest barrage of anti-gun bills they passed, which includes ban on semi-automatic firearms and magazine capacity. And we're proud to do that. We're partnering with the National Rifle Association and the Firearms Policy Conference. And that's a major case. It's got a lot of publicity. What's interesting, Mark, is a lot of the legacy media that never talks about when we file a suit carried the fact that we filed this suit immediately after the governor signed it. The amount of press we got nationwide on that is at an all-time high for any of the cases. When we first file a case, of course, we get publicity when we win them, but we don't get the publicity when we file them. We did in this particular case, though. And then, of course, the big news is that we just filed this past week a cert petition at the U.S. Supreme Court challenging Maryland's so-called sensitive place legislation, similar to the one we just struck down in New York. So we have a case, that one going to the U.S. Supreme Court right now as well. So those are like three of the more than 55 current cases we've got going on in court. It's been a very, very busy month for the Second Amendment Foundation.
Yeah, Alan, let me go to the Fourth Circuit now. John Comerford from NRA was on the broadcast the day after, or that weekend that it was filed, and I have to hand it to you at SAF. I mean, this case was, correct me if I'm wrong, was filed within minutes of the signature on that bill. Late, wasn't it?
It definitely was. We were prepared for it. We were all waiting for it. As soon as the governor signed it, we were in court.
Now, that's a federal case. Let's talk about the distinction and the nuance between the federal court case and the state case. And we've already lost, Supreme Court failed to take that Snopes case. When they failed to take that Snopes case, the Fourth Circuit, that means that the assault weapons ban in Maryland stands. Now here we are again, same circuit. How's this going to work? What's the strategy here? Would you explain that to us? And then maybe compare that to the state court, because this is a two-pronged approach. We're outflanking this governor.
Yeah, let me rephrase it a little bit here. One of our problems is that we have so many cases. I think there are staff has three cases pending cert at the Supreme Court right now. They've heard one case this year on the sensitive place law challenge for one in Hawaii.
Yeah, the Wolford case.
One of our problems is that we know the court isn't going to take a lot of gun cases at one time. Like maybe you're lucky and you get one, and we've got a whole bunch of them piled up, and a whole bunch more ready to go in case they don't take the ones that are already petitioned for cert there. And so we can't move them all at one time, but we don't know which one they'd want to pick. So we're sort of forced to bring as many as quickly as possible, no matter what. So the strategy here is really, I guess, based on the fact that we don't know which case they'll take or when they'll take it. But we're going to make sure they're always sitting in front of them, and that somewhere down the line they'll progress and take one, then take another, then take the other one. But we're not going to get them all there at one time, and it's disturbing to me because it costs a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of money to bring these cases, and we know they're not going to take them all, at one time, but we don't really have a choice. When our rights are attacked, we're here to stop that because, as I always say, a right delayed is a right denied.
And we've got to stay in front of the court, ladies and gentlemen. We absolutely have to stay in front of SCOTUS, and the Second Amendment Foundation has been there, as I've told you many times over many years, and Alan has reiterated this, over 85, and it's probably higher than that now, probably closer to 90% of the cases won across the country come from the Second Amendment Foundation. Alan Gottlieb, thank you for being here on a Memorial Day. I do appreciate it very much. I know you're busy, and I know what your schedule is like, and I do appreciate it so much. Ladies and gentlemen, you can join Alan, myself, and many others at SAF. Coming up next, Holly Sullivan from Citizens Committee for the Right to Keep and Bear Arms to talk about the conference Alan mentioned at the outset. Alan Gottlieb, founder, Second Amendment Foundation. Thank you, sir, for everything that you have done and everything that you are doing in defense of our right to keep and bear arms. Ladies and gentlemen, Alan is the real deal. And I'm so glad and proud we could bring his voice to you on the nation's airwaves again today. When we come back, Holly Sullivan, my fellow board member at the CCRKBA, will be here to talk about the upcoming conference. Then you've got me in segment 4. We'll be back right after this. Don't go away. Yeah, welcome back to the show. If you are watching on your television sets, or if you're watching whatever streaming service you're using, X, if you're watching over on YouTube, we hope you're watching over on YouTube. Please subscribe to us at YouTube. Our numbers are going off the chain over there, ladies and gentlemen. We really need to take that back, and we're doing an exceptional job. Greg, I think the growth is now close to 800% over just the last 28 days. So, guys, it's really, really important if you would just hit subscribe over on YouTube. We would appreciate that. We've got at least 2 shorts and another video coming out for you every single day. Plus, we stream this broadcast live for you over on YouTube as well. So please take advantage of that. We would appreciate that greatly. And one announcement before we go to Holly really quick. Those of you who have been following us for a long time and listening to the program for many years, and just over the last few months, you heard us talking about the CCRKBA Ruger Precision Rifle giveaway. We have a winner, ladies and gentlemen. However, that winner has not yet responded to us, so we can't give you that name yet. All right? So, guys, if it's you, all right, check your spam messages, check your emails if you entered, and see if you've been notified, because one of you has and has not yet responded. I'm pretty sure you want that package, okay? Because if not, we're going to let it go about another 48 hours. We're going to have to find a new winner, and we don't want you to lose out on that opportunity. When we get that name and we've spoken to that person and confirmed, we will give you that name. And it's one of you that's listening right now, okay? So please, don't miss out on that. Holly Sullivan, fellow board member of mine at Citizens Committee for the Right to Keep and Bear Arms. I just love her to death. She always sits across the table from me at the board meeting, so I always get a good look at her, and her and I can smile at each other, and we attack things the same way because we're both type AAA personalities. And Holly, you've done a lot of radio today. Welcome to Armed American Radio's Monster Cast Now. How are you? Thanks for being here.
Hey, Mark, how are you? Thanks so much.
Yeah, it's a pleasure having you, Holly. It's good to have you on the program. So Alan Gottlieb was just here, and he was telling the audience about the conference coming up next weekend. I want everybody to hear it from you. Ladies and gentlemen, Holly has put, I happen to know how much work. And even that means I don't know how much work. I know what she's done. I've participated in the meetings, and you've just really gone gangbusters on this. Tell us about the New England Conference, where it is, where people can find out about it. There are seats open, according to Alan. Floor is yours. Take it away.
Yeah, I appreciate that so much. So very excited about this. Really, this is a first ever opportunity to bring states together in a way that's never happened before. So we've got here in New England, we tend to call ourselves, we're behind the deep blue curtain up here. We've got some very difficult states for gun control, and we have some states that are creeping there for the very first time ever. So states like my home state of Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, I mean, we've been living in gun control for generations to some degree. And then we've got states like Maine that are starting to get some very difficult proposals in their legislatures, and Vermont, who has gotten some really surprising stuff. Gosh, I'll tell you, I took a trip up to Vermont. I couldn't imagine, I had no idea I couldn't buy a magazine over 10 rounds in Vermont. I did not see that coming.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So, it's crazy. And what's really unique about this conference is that this is really bringing together all of the players, all of the doers, all of the organizers, the attorneys, the legislators, getting us all together in a room and starting to get that fire lit. Open the dialogues, build the bridges, make the connections, and we are going to start moving the needle the other direction. So I'm just incredibly excited about it. We have such a long list of speakers, and it's going to be something that you've never seen before. So if you are within remote driving distance of the greater Springfield, Massachusetts area, you don't want to miss next Saturday.
Yeah, it's pretty centrally located, just about 20, 30 minutes a little bit northeast of Hartford, guys. So if you can get to this, do it. This has been something, Holly, as you know, as a board member, that you and I in particular have talked about for the last several years, of bringing these states' rights organizations kind of, together, to work together. And this is the first one of these, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we're going to do more of these across the country. Next one, I believe, will be in Phoenix in the Southwest. When we get closer, we'll have the dates for you. But Holly's the one that's kicking this off for us, and she's done a remarkable job. Holly, here's something fun to talk about. I put out a YouTube video early today. This is historic times for gun owners. Everything can change with what's in front of the court now, the Supreme Court, with what's been happening in some of the states, the movements that we're seeing, the victories that we're obtaining right now. There is hope for New England. Now, 2 years ago, we probably would have never said that. But there is hope now, isn't there? We can change this landscape, can't we?
Absolutely. And I think that's especially where Second Amendment Foundation and the Citizens Committee are knocking it out of the park. So staff, Ellen mentioned it in the last segment. There's a number of cases up in front of SCOTUS right now. Hopefully they take one of them. One of those cases is one that I'm deeply invested in, which is Grant versus Lamont, also called Grant versus Hagan. That is a CCDL Second Amendment Foundation case, which would restore the ability for Americans across this country to own modern sporting rifles. So, you're kind of hitting it on that legal angle, but then on the other side, you've got Citizens Committee for the Right to Keep and Bear Arms that is doing the advocacy, partnering, and really getting that initiative going. So this is what has to happen for this revolution to take place. Gun owners need to get out of their comfort zone, get out from behind the keyboard, go shake hands with real human beings, and buckle down and say, what do you need from me? And I promise you, we can change the dynamic, not just here in New England, but in all of the other difficult areas. We can do it in Illinois. We can do it in California. We just have to be willing to work together, and I think that is where you're going to see these organizations shining going forward.
There is no question about that. And, God bless you for the work that you're doing behind that blue wall. You are, in fact, behind the blue wall, and it is a mess there, just as you mentioned in Vermont. I can remember when constitutional carry was formerly known back in the day as Vermont-style carry. Boy, the changes that have occurred in that free state. That was a free state. It was the freest state we had when it came to guns. It really, truly was, and now it's opposite. But how do you feel about that CCDL case? The court is going to take one. Kavanaugh has already signaled this. They're going to take one of these cases. Connecticut's case, your case at CCDL, Connecticut Citizens Defense League, has a high likelihood of being taken. I know, as you know, we get that case to SCOTUS. We win that case. And bye-bye, laws.
I mean, there's no doubt that these laws are unconstitutional. I don't think it was ever the intention of our founding fathers to price the average person out of suing their government. And I think if I could change one thing in history, that would be it, is to make it more accessible to get these cases resolved. Yeah. But that being said, man, I'll tell you, if I have any part in correcting this wrong that has been done to the American people, I feel like I've done my job here on this planet. So if this case is one of the many that's up there, that is successful, even if it comes back down on remand and the Second Circuit has to make it right for those of us in the Second Circuit, that's still a victory. And what's exciting for me about the Grant case, so the Grant case actually has the opportunity that even if it doesn't get granted cert in this cycle, it has not been all the way argued through the merits. So we get another go at this. And so I really love that that case gets to stay alive.
Well, I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, sitting in a boardroom with Holly for a number of years, just how dedicated she is to this. And you have done the work behind the scenes, and I know how difficult it is, and the amount of time that you're putting into this is just remarkable. And I want to thank you on behalf of our listeners throughout not just your area, but throughout the country, because this is a benefit to everybody in the country that values their gun rights. Holly, you've done remarkable work, and thank you for doing that. Where can people get more information about CCDL? Guys, we're pushing the states. The antis have taken this to the states, and we're pounding them back every day. We're on the cusp of some historic wins here. We need your help in Connecticut as well. Where can people join?
30.
Yeah, it's super easy. So it's free to become a member of the Connecticut Citizens Defense League. It's just ccdl.us. Scroll down a little bit, and you'll see a little button that says Join Us. You can sign up right there. And then obviously the conference. If you're able to get to this conference, you are going to meet the Second Amendment groups. You're going to meet the gun owners of Maine. You're going to meet the folks running the show in New Hampshire. You're going to meet the Rhode Island Second Amendment Coalition. And, of course, if you don't already know, Goal in Massachusetts, they're knocking it out of the park. And, of course, CCDL is going to be there. So, this is really the opportunity to come get to know the New England groups that are getting the work done.
Meet the people that are fighting for you, ladies and gentlemen. You can also visit CCRKBA for more information. Holly, thank you. We're going to bring you on the Daily Defense this week to push it one more time. Guys, thanks, Holly. We appreciate it very much. Thanks for all the work that you do. Believe me, thank you so much. Guys, when you come back, we've got me for the next segment. We'll kind of wrap everything up, and then Quang Nguyen from Arizona for the hour. Buckle in. We'll be right back. Thanks, Holly. Hey, guys, welcome in here during the break. We're going to do a Mark with Guitars segment with you real quick. We've got a couple minutes. Sitting behind me is a very special guitar. And I have 4 Gibson guitars. And I'll tell you briefly about this one. But if you know anything about Gibson guitars, if you know anything about if you play, you'll know this guitar. And this is a very special guitar. This is a Gibson ES335. And you can tell by looking at her, she is absolutely gorgeous. This is a semi-hollow body. And this is in the satin tobacco burst. I happen to love the satin finish on this. The difference, it doesn't have the shiny nitro on it, but over time, as you play it, it begins to shine up in areas, and it just is absolutely beautiful. It plays unlike anything that I have. It is very unique to the guitars versus the Les Paul, the Junior, and the SG that I have. And I'll say this: if somebody said to me, "You can pick one guitar to keep or you're going to die," this is the guitar I'm going to keep. That's how versatile it is. The only guitar that I can mention that I have that this really won't do is the Les Paul Jr. that has the P90 pickup on it. But as far as the SG, the Les Paul, or this guitar will do it all, and everything that those can't, because this is in fact a semi-hollow body. It's a very beautiful guitar. It's not a cheap guitar by any stretch. The satin finish runs about $400 to $500 less than the shiny nitro finish, and you can check them out at Gibson. And if you are a player, you know exactly what we're talking about here. I don't have enough time to go into it, but it is an absolute beauty. And the history of the Gibson ES335 is absolutely legendary. Take it all the way back into the 50s, and Chuck Berry, you know the routine. Guys, we're getting ready to come back right now. You've got me for the next, what do we got, about 10-minute segment. So stick with us. We'll be right back with you. Indeed. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The attorneys on retainer rejoin second national break, third break in the program. I do this for you at the beginning of the fourth segment. Every single show, that includes the daily show as well, in each individual hour. Attorneys on retainer. This card here does in fact represent the equivalent of my carrying an attorney with me. This is attorneysonretainer.us. My kids have it, my wife has it, my parents have it, many of my neighbors have it. Most all of my friends have it. The ones that haven't yet, they'll get off the fence at some point. And you're one of them if you don't have it, because I consider us friends. If you're a listener of Armed American Radio and you've made a decision to carry a firearm, if you're even thinking about it, guys, I can only tell you, if the worst day of your life ever approaches you and you need to use your gun, you will be investigated. And if you are not immediately charged with a crime, there will be an investigation, and you are not entitled to an attorney until you're charged with a crime. So why wouldn't you have one from that split second on? Because let me promise you, if it happens, and it can happen like that, I don't care where you live, I don't care where you go, where you play, what side of the tracks you live on. Bad things happen to good people every single day across this country. Make sure you have this card in your wallet, because if it does unfold, you will call your attorney and let them handle it for you. And that's all they do, is handle self-defense cases. It's attorneysonretainer.us/AAR. That's going to save you $25 off the sign up, and it is only $37 a month. So if you haven't done that, please, please, please get off the fence and make that happen. It is absolutely critical to your financial future and your freedom should something bad happen to you when you least expect it. I can't stress that enough. Very important. And we'll take this opportunity to ask.com. Not a lot of time to talk about them right now because we had to move so quickly with our guest lineup. Greg in Dallas, Texas. What did you think about Gottlieb's comments about everything that the Second Amendment Foundation is doing when you consider that we are in historic territory here, Greg?
As usual, spot on. And it's hard to phrase what the Second Amendment Foundation has been doing when you don't know what they're doing. But when you do know what they're doing, they are an actual avalanche falling down upon these cases and just destroying them and just mangling them all to pieces and scattering to the wind when these judges rule, and coming down with the heavy-handed, appropriate language in order to just demolish any kind of attempt to infringe upon the Second Amendment and to destroy gun rights in each legislation or in each jurisdiction, that these cases are falling, and they're winning, and they keep winning. And like Trump said, you're going to be so tired of winning, but we're not.
We're not tired of winning.
We're loving it.
Yeah, when it comes to Second Amendment, we're never going to tire of winning. And if you're watching the stream, you can see I've got a graphic of Kathy Hochul in tears, which I had made today, and I just thought it was beautiful because that is exactly what we're going to do to her. We've already done it in the Second Circuit, okay? This woman is an absolute tyrant, And we will not stop. And I can promise you, Alan Gottlieb and the Second Amendment Foundation, FPC, NRA, GOA, and all the states' organizations, none of them will stop until every single one of these Democrats are in tears, just like you see on your screen right there. I'll pay that theater of the mind with you, which is what radio is. She's there in tears, and we love that. And we could leave that up just because it's so beautiful to look at, but she's difficult to look at, so I'll go ahead and pull that down. Ugh. Can only take so much of her, Greg. You know, I put a YouTube short out earlier today that we are in, when I say we're in record territory, I think I titled it, everything about your gun rights, ladies and gentlemen, is changing right before your eyes. When you take a look, when I say historic, what am I talking about? You've got an ATF that is now under cicada becoming a pro-gun government agency? Who would have ever thunk that? Just months ago. So, you know, put that in your pipe and smoke that one. Unbelievable. Look, the ATF exists. We don't want it there. I want it out. I at least want them to get the F out of ATF. Make it alcohol and tobacco. I should be able to buy what I want as a law-abiding citizen out of a vending machine, whatever gun I want. That includes automatic. But until the ATF is gone, and hopefully it will be in the future, we've got a guy at the helm that's one of us. And who would have thunk that? That in and of itself is historic. We're going after the NFA now. The NFA is likely going to fall, ladies and gentlemen. Think short barrel rifles. Think registration. The tax is already gone. The legislation is already filed. The litigation is already filed. These are very real cases. Bruin is wreaking havoc. And Greg, I love your metaphor of the avalanche over at SAF. It's just one right after the other. One opportunity after another to bury the gun grabbers across this country. We are in winning territory, and hence why the midterms are so vital, because we really can. Boy, you want to talk about putting the icing on the cake, Greg, when it comes to historic movement in gun rights and protection of the Second Amendment. Think Todd Blanche. My interview with him was incredible at NRA, making it very clear, ladies and gentlemen, the ultimate goal here is to solidify our gun rights going forward, that no matter what happens in the midterms, even if the bad thing happens, even if the Democrats win it all, House and Senate, which is unlikely, but assuming they do, even if they did, they still can't touch your gun rights. That's the goal of today's DOJ. That in and of itself alone. Each one of these is historic. The Bruin decision, now wreaking havoc across the country. You've got a clear distinction of where the anti-gun judges are and where they're not. And there is a method to the madness of the Second Amendment Foundation and all of these organizations in bringing these various cases and various types of cases in the circuits that they're bringing them, to give a higher likelihood that SCOTUS takes one of these cases. And as you heard Alan mention, it would be great if they would take all of them, but they won't. So that's where the strategy comes in. Virginia, the Fourth Circuit, Maryland. Virginia's in the Fourth Circuit. Maryland case was already lost in the Fourth Circuit. Now we go back to Virginia, as Alan pointed out, because we're never going to stop. They're going to take one of these cases. And when they do, we win it. And our odds of them taking one of these cases, as we continue to bring more of these cases to them, guess what happens? Our odds increase. Greg, we're going to win this thing. We're going to win it hands down. There's no question. We just need to get it there. It's pretty much that simple.
I believe that's true. I believe this fight, especially, with all the winning that the SAF has directed, 30, and hopefully we'll see more winning from Blanche soon. All the criminal referrals are on his desk.
That's right.
All he has to do is start handing them out. All you got to do is start handing them out and putting them in cuffs. That's all we got to do.
Yeah, these guys are in a position right now, folks. What they're doing is they're prioritizing right now. Okay? It's all there. They're just prioritizing what it is they're going after at this stage of the game. But we have friends in these positions, and it's absolutely wonderful. We're getting ready to take our top of the hour break. When we come back, Quang Nguyen, the shredder himself, is kind enough to stay with us for the entire hour. We'll talk about all of this, and we'll go into what happened at the White House. We'll talk about some Chicago numbers, just another atrocious weekend underway in the city of Chicago. Just one incident alone with these the failure on display for the world to see if you open your eyes and go find it, because mainstream media doesn't like to cover it. is right there for you to see. Of just, it is a mirrored image out of Chicago. Every single Democrat-run city in this country facing the same ills. Ladies and gentlemen, this isn't about your guns. This is about their failed blanky policies. That's all I can say in an FCC unfriendly way. When we come back, Quang, Nguyen, stick around. Don't go away. We'll be back right after this. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Armed American Radio's Monstercast Hour 2 is now under from the great state of Georgia, where we're fighting Democrats down here like crazy, too. So we've got a primary underway. Nobody got 50% of that vote, Greg. So you got Jackson and Burt Jones going at it down here to replace Kemp, who I would have loved to have seen, by the way, run for John Ossoff's seat, which he did not. I really wanted him to do that. I understand why he didn't do it. But, you know, hey.
You got to get somebody that has a little bit of a pair, because Kemp did not have them when it came to the 2020 election.
Yeah, well, you know, Raffensperger's out. He lost. He's done. He didn't get close enough. So the runoff is between Jackson and Burt Jones. And I already know where I'm going with that, but I'll keep that close to the vest until we get closer and closer to November. Because I really want to see how Trump handles this. He's quasi-endorsed Jackson. He has endorsed Burt Jones. Burt Jones, a career politician, establishment guy. Jackson, more like Trump outsider. Maybe I'm giving my stuff away now. I don't know. Maybe not.
Who knows?
Okay. If you listen to me, you know. You can figure that one out. But I don't think you'll be shocked when I tell you at some point down the road. We'll see how this plays out. We've got a little ways to go. But
we've got a pretty heated race here in Texas as well between Cornyn and Paxton, and I think we're going to put Cornyn out the pasture. Yeah,
I think so. I think that's getting ready to happen. Guys, let me say it's Memorial Day weekend. Please don't forget why we celebrate Memorial Day. It's always kind of a, you know, happy Memorial Day, right? I understand why people say that.
Solemn.
It's a solemn day, but we want you to have fun. I'm doing a pork butt tomorrow. I'm going to cook that even no matter what the weather's doing. It's been kind of crappy and rainy, but that's okay. It doesn't stop the smokers from going around here. I know we're not doing an encore, or we're running an encore in the next hour. You'll like it. We'll be talking about that Florida HOA, and we're going to rerun a couple segments we did with Lee the Gunwriter Williams with the Tate Adamiak update that we want all of our affiliates around the country to hear, because it's a remarkable story, and this story is really getting some legs.
Remarkable job by Lee reporting on that
Williams
as well.
Has just broken this wide open. I got to hand it to him. What a job he has done. So if you did miss that Daily Defense Hour, we're going to rerun that for you. Plus, you're going to hear about that Florida HOA that just got smacked upside the head with a copy of the Bill of Rights.
As should be.
By the Florida Attorney General Upmeyer. It was absolutely beautiful. And guys, our YouTube channel is on fire right now. Please make sure to visit YouTube at Armed American Radio and subscribe over there, please. We are growing like crazy, and we need your help to do that. We are live on YouTube right now. We are live on X at AAR Mark. Greg, I'll take that from you now because we're going a little bit longer on the intro than I wanted.
Yeah, we did.
And you can tell people where to get involved in the chat, and then we'll go right to Arizona Rep Quang Nguyen. We're going to have some fun.
Yeah, sure. If you want to join the live chat, just download Telegram, create your profile, and search for Armed American Radio Conversations.
Yeah, that'll do it. Quang, welcome in, my friend. We're Arizona-centric tonight
brother.
with the politicians, brother. Glad to have you here. Always a pleasure, man. We love you. We love you.
Yeah, well, we love you out here in Arizona, too, and I really appreciate you having the Senate President Warren Peterson on there. I got to tell you, if you're listening to me right now in Arizona or anywhere in the country, and you got an extra $5 or $20, please donate to Warren Peterson.
Yeah.
We need him in that office.
You guys have known each other a long time, and he was giving us the lowdown, you know, and just loving the whole shredder thing, man. And, you know, he invited me to the Senate, and I can't wait to get back out to Arizona in the next 7 to 8 weeks, hook up with you and hook up with Warren and get back out there on the floor and watch you guys do your business out there. And, you know, ladies and gentlemen, I get this question a lot. Where's Alan been? Alan's been incredibly busy, so we give him a break from time to time to let him take a breather. He's working so hard. And Quang, you're doing the same thing. Quang is still in session in Arizona, so we want to let Quang do what he does and not interrupt him. And we thank you so much for being here on Memorial Day, Quang. It's huge to have you here always. I thought it was kind of funny when I wish I had more time with Warren, to be honest with you. And I'm going to bring him on in an upcoming show, so we have a full hour with him to talk about what's going on. But hearing him talk about you being the shredder and how, you know, that's a position that he had at one point, and he was the shredder, and he's just so proud, you know, to be the shredder and to have you there, man. It's great.
Yeah, so this actually happened in December before we started the new session, and I got a call from the president of the Senate, and Warren basically said, hey, I know occasionally we'll have a bad bill that will slip through the Senate and comes over. Would you do me a favor? Would you just be very careful. And if you have to kill it, please kill it for me or kill them for me. When you get a call from leadership like that, you just have to pay double the amount of attention, and you just have to do your diligence, and you just have to work really hard to make sure that these things don't slip through. And occasionally they slip through.
Yeah, they're not getting past you. I've seen that shredder with my own eyes. I've heard it. I've seen it in operation, ladies and gentlemen, in the office of the shredder. Yet it is interesting.
So they're not. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead, please.
No, I mean, it's kind of funny. In the last 3 or 4 days, my primary opponent is now criticizing me for using the shredder. And, she actually said that if she had been elected, she would have heard all the bills. And she said I would never use the shredder. And what she doesn't understand is, as a Republican, you should use a shredder to shred every single anti-Second Amendment bill. She doesn't realize that. But, the question is, what did I do wrong to deserve a primary? I guess this is the American way, right? You're an American. You're born here.
You've done absolutely nothing wrong.
I shouldn't complain.
No, you've done absolutely nothing wrong. And one of the questions that I wanted to ask Warren, ladies and gentlemen, for transparency, and I just simply didn't have time, but we will, is, why is a guy like you being primaried? No, I don't know of anybody in Arizona politics, save for you, that stands on the Second Amendment as you do. And you have a family history. You understand the depth and the importance of the Second Amendment with your family history, Vietnam, the whole 9 yards. You get it because you've seen this. Look, we know what they're up against. This is a great opportunity for me to kind of segue over. I'm going to go over to a piece that our good friend Cam Edwards wrote. By the way, guys, I was just on Cam Edwards' Cam and Company last week. Make sure to go watch it. Cam and I always have a great time together. Quang, how we're always talking about the other side wants to bury the firearms industry, right? Wants to sue them out of existence, right? A lot of what they do is designed to bankrupt the firearms industry. Just skirt the Constitution.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know that.
Every single year. Yeah, every single year there's a bill that would attach additional taxes onto firearms.
Yeah.
And clearly it's unconstitutional because firearms is what we need to exercise our Second Amendment, our constitutional right. Yeah. They want to put taxes, additional big taxes on ammo and the equipment. I call it the tools to exercise my constitutional right. And they want to do that, and they do it every single year. And they continue to push. I don't know what would happen if we don't have a gatekeeper there anymore. It worries me every day.
It should worry you. Quang is neck deep in this stuff every day, ladies and gentlemen, but think of a poll tax. Think of taxing your First Amendment. There's a reason churches are tax exempt, okay? Yet the other side, this is where the Second Amendment's always treated, and Thomas has been, on SCOTUS, has been very adamant about this, that the Second Amendment is not a second-class right. But, sometimes, Quang, the other side says the quiet part out loud. Sometimes it just kind of sneaks out of them. There's an anti-gun activist in California who has literally called for an end to U.S. firearms production. Now, I got to go back to Gottlieb again, as I reference this all the time. He says in a kind of a chuckle way, he says, you got to hand it to them. Their creativity knows no bounds, right? Look, these guys are great at masking their true intentions. They've done a good job of it over the years. They hijack the language. And then I'll quote from Cam Edwards at Bearing Arms. You want to go read the piece. Every now and then, though, an anti-2A activist tells the truth about what they're really after. I have to thank Californian Seth Sandronsky for his candor at the lefty website Counterpunch, where he says that while he supports gun control efforts, they don't go far enough. Here's what he had to say. Greg, I guess I'll take this to the break. Quang, we'll get your thoughts on the other side. Gun production is where the focus belongs, economically and politically. There is no market with politics. Politically, the pro-war two-party system is the main obstacle to a ban on gun production. Think about that. The two-party system. No, it's called the Constitution, brother. But I digress. It's a morbid symptom of the system of legalized bribery campaign donations from the gun lobby, e.g., National Rifle Association, Gun Owners of America, Second Amendment Foundation. This political economy makes corporations and the wealthy richer via their tight control of the local, state, and federal governments. Now, as Cam points out, as I just did, not even seeing this statement from him, I'd say that politically the main obstacle to a ban on gun production is the Constitution, not the two-party system. Spoken like a true communist out of this cat, Seth Sandronsky. When we come back, we'll talk with Quang Nguyen, chairman of the Arizona House Judiciary in the Arizona House of Delegates in the great state of Arizona. We'll be right back with Quang. Don't go away. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we would really appreciate it if you would join the National Rifle Association, and not just the National Rifle Association, but all of your local gun groups across the country. We're not joshing you, as my sister would say when she was younger. We're not joshing you. when it comes to the fact that the anti-gunners are taking this fight to the states. And that's because it makes sense because Trump's in office and we have historically the most pro-gun administration in American history. And that's at this point, ladies and gentlemen, it's not debatable. We never get everything as fast as we want it, and we never will when it comes to politics, particularly in Washington, D.C. And sometimes we have to shift our battles, federal, state, et cetera. So they're trying to fake us out right now, right? They're pulling that juke and jive on us with the ball, right? Look at it as a fake handoff. They're moving things to the state. They think we're stupid. We're not. That's why we're winning in states across the country right now. That's why I put this picture of Kathy Hochul up, you know, and I put her up here. You look at her and you just, that's what we want, is her crying. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We've already made her cry when the Second Circuit decision came out, wiping out her carry ban in private businesses and all that nonsense. But we're going to keep making them cry every single day. There's no question about it. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, the fight is very real, and the National Rifle Association needs your help. NRA.org/AAR. Please join, and your local groups. Two of them in particular that we are pushing very hard right now is VCDL, that's Virginia Citizens Defense League. We need you to join that organization. They are doing incredible work, and the power in numbers, I cannot emphasize enough how important it is just to have your email on that list. Help us grow that organization as they go through this vicious fight in the state of Virginia so it doesn't come to you. And AZCDL, as we mentioned, good friends with Warren Peterson, the Senate president over there, and Quang, of course. Guys, we're trying to keep this from happening in Arizona. These are two very dangerous places right now that are close to falling. We've got to reverse that trend so it doesn't come to you if you don't live in those two states. And that includes the state I'm in as well, Georgia, because the Democrats are earmarking us. All right? They are doing the same thing where you are. I don't care how red your state is. That's what they're working on behind the scenes. So please join NRA.org, and you can find all of our great partners, all of them, including Blackout Coffee. Greg, I'll do this real quick before we go back to Quang. How many cups of Blackout Coffee do you think I had this morning? Start my day. I'll let you guess.
I'm going to go with 2 pots.
No, it was not. In fact, it was. I made a half a pot, and I think I had 2 cups. But it's blackoutcoffee.com, ladies and gentlemen, blackoutcoffee.com/AAR. And if you are watching on your screens, depending on where my camera is mirrored, you can see that QR code up there. Just point your phone at that and head over and grab some Blackout Coffee. Quang Nguyen, chairman of the House Judiciary in the great state of Arizona. Quang, let's continue the conversation. They're going after us at the state level, and we all know they want to ban firearm manufacturing, but they just don't come out and say it. Every once in a while, some socialist commie moron does. So why would we not believe them when they say these things?
Oh, I believe them. I live.
You do. You get it.
13 years. I lived 13 years under a communist war, so I totally understand. And I said this many times, and I'll repeat it again. The reason I love the Second Amendment so much because I once lived without it. So let me just say it this way. Warren Peterson talked about the Senate. We have 1 vote lead in the Arizona Senate.
It's crazy.
And then we have 2 in the House of Representatives. Ladies and gentlemen, Virginia is just a blink in Arizona. Okay, so we blink our eyes and we become Virginia. If we don't, I'll tell you what I did in the last 3 days. The speaker sent me to Kentucky to help raise money. To do what? So that we can come back and expand the majority. Okay, I don't need to worry about myself because I'm in such a red district, but still facing a primary. But that's the thing. So as soon as we recognize, and I'll just say this very carefully, the debate is no longer about whether the Second Amendment or our rights to keep and bear arms exist. The debate is about how much we would allow the government to infringe upon our Second Amendment rights. That's the debate. As soon as you can tweak your mind and understand that you can fight for the Second Amendment all you want, but I would rather fight the government that is coming to take our Second Amendment. And that basically is my worry.
Now, Quang, it's Memorial Day weekend. You have a stake in this as well. Your daughter is in the U.S. Navy, correct?
Yes, sir.
So how do you, as my kids, you know me very well, and you know the things I teach my children. Your daughter obviously gets it. She's serving her country right now. How important is the Second Amendment to your daughter? And how old is your daughter right now? She's in her early 20s, right?
Yeah, she's going to be turning 27 on July 4th.
Okay, 27 on
Of all-
4th of all dates. I love
yeah,
it.
yeah. She picked July 4th to decide to come out. But I'll say this: talk about the Second Amendment. She was in the service for 5 years. She was commissioned 5 years ago, and the last rifle match she shot was exactly 5 years ago in Quantico.
Wow.
And she shot a week ago. And for someone who has not exercised the Second Amendment in 5 years because of her time in a submarine, and then all her rifles are in my safe, right? So she doesn't have a rifle. So she went out to Quantico, joined a team, borrow a rifle, and out of the 111 shooters, my little girl wound up in number 12.
Wow.
And we're talking about Marines, Army, and just about everybody. And so it's sort of like picking up a bicycle for her. But to go back to this point is that I taught her when she was 7 years old. Mm-hmm. I made sure she understands firearm safety, the Second Amendment, our right to keep and bear arms, and it doesn't exist anywhere else but the United States. And she took it to heart. And I think us Americans, we have to support the young people, the youth movement in terms of, competing out there. Because if you don't have young shooters, you're not going to have old shooters. If you don't have old shooters, who's going to defend the Second Amendment?
Well, that I can take that to Virginia too, because you just gave that progression, right? People say, well, I live in Virginia, I can keep the gun that I currently have. Okay, that may be true with grandfathering, but we're seeing what they want to do with grandfathering in Rhode Island. They come back after the fact and they say, oh, no, come to think of it, no, we're going to wipe out grandfathering, okay? Now, that hasn't happened in Virginia yet, and of course the assault firearms bill is being aggressively fought. 7 different lawsuits, both in federal and state court right now across the great Commonwealth of Virginia, and we will win that battle, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Likely at the state level, you'll see an injunction here. It probably won't be too long from now. I'm hopeful that the Virginia Supreme Court will do that. Could be wrong, but indications are they might. Even if they don't, we will eventually win that battle. In the meantime, we're going to eventually win it at the Supreme Court. But where I'm going with this is, I'll take this to the break, Quang, get your thoughts when we come back, because here's what happens, ladies and gentlemen. You can no longer buy them. You can no longer hand them down. You can no longer import them in. And when you're gone, the generation born now, this year, when this bill goes into effect, will never have the right to own what you currently own. That's an outright ban. They're in this for the long haul. They are playing the long game. Understand that. That's where we are. That's what they're about. They're demonic, ladies and gentlemen. They hate your constitutional right to bear arms. Accept that and act accordingly. We'll be back. 2 more segments with Quang Nguyen. Don't go away. Hey guys, welcome in here. I'm going to give you the shameless plug. If you are watching on YouTube and you have not yet just crushed that subscribe button, please, please, please do so. We're growing there in the hundreds and hundreds of % range over there, and we really need you to help us do so. They've actually been pretty good to us, believe it or not. For the longest time, from a political standpoint, they didn't like what we talked about, but I have to hand it to them, and I'm fair, all right? They're doing a good job with us right now. And we need your help to continue to grow the program over on YouTube. Help us get to 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 subscribers. It matters in today's day and age. So every day you'll see a couple shorts coming out, sometimes more than that, depending on the content and the topics that we have. But we'll cut these segments up for you. We give you the shorts. We put some cool graphics up there for you, some great thumbnails, and some really good information. There's a lot of sites that you have to choose from. Subscribe to all of them, okay? If you're a fan of Jared Yanis at Guns and Gadgets, mash the Armed American Radio button. You hear Jared on the program from time to time, and vice versa. And we would appreciate that support. If you're a fan of Jared's, you're a fan of Armed American Radio, so hit the subscribe button over there. Doesn't hurt. While you're at it, hit the like button and hit that little bell and subscribe and get our notifications when we put those new shorts out. They run anywhere from about 45 seconds, 50 seconds, up to a maximum. I think the longest we're allowed to put up is 3 minutes, and then we'll link over to some videos as well. But help us on the videos over there, okay? The shorts are booming right now, but we really need some help on the videos as we continue to grow. And we've done a great job over there, and the algorithm is beginning to work with us, but we need your help to do it. So if you're on the site, comment on the videos. Just drop a comment in. Yes, no, something. Say something. We'll respond to you over there and help us feed that algorithm. We appreciate it, okay? Real simple. Subscribe. Just hit that little button. We do appreciate it. We'll be back. We've got 2 more segments to go with Quang Nguyen. Don't go away. Yeah, welcome back to the show. Blackout Coffee, the real deal over there, ladies and gentlemen. BlackoutCoffee.com. Really good, strong coffee. And now, when I say strong coffee, I mean good, rich, bold flavor. And they're booming over there for a reason, because it's good. It's that simple. As much as I hate to say this, I got away from the local production around here. We've got a really good coffee place out here, too. But Blackout's just very good. It's that simple. And when you support Blackout Coffee, simply by drinking Blackout Coffee, it's easy to do because it is so good. You also support virtually every gun rights organization out there that we talk about every single day because they support them. So that's how this works. We scratch each other's backs. Drink Blackout Coffee, support your gun rights. It's a win-win all the way around, and it's great coffee. And as far as strong goes, if you like, and Greg, I did open up that Strikeforce coffee, 200 milligrams caffeine. So what we do here is we take like a scoop of that and put it in others so you're not getting the full boat, right? But if you're really tired, okay, the Strikeforce or the Brutal Awakening, a little bit heavier caffeine count for you, which we can handle. It's not too bad, but you got to be careful because it is good, strong coffee. BlackoutCoffee.com, the QR code right up there. If you're watching, that QR code, just point your phone at it, and that'll take you right to Blackout. I mentioned quickly in one of the previous segments that didn't air that you're glad you didn't wear your MyPillow slippers today because they would have been mush right now because of the weather.
Yeah, they'd be soaking wet. Yeah, it'd be terrible.
Yeah, mine would be mud and dirt and wet too, and I don't have mine on either. A little bit too hot for them. But guys, MyPillow.com has tons and tons and tons of discounts and deals over there, so make sure to visit MyPillow.com and support Mike. Okay, he has supported this program now, Greg, over 15 years. 15 years. The guy flew a private jet to co-sponsor the show with me at AM 1280, The Patriot. Amazing station, fighting the fight up there at The Patriot. Guys, we love you guys up in Minneapolis. Wow, the problems you have up there, The Patriot's telling the truth at 1280, and they've been running this show for a decade and a half, probably longer. And Mike up there has always supported Armed American Radio. Support the man. It's simple. Go buy great products, towels, whatever it is, sheets, pillows, everything, including those amazing slippers, mypillow.com/AAR. Quang Nguyen, welcome back, my brother. So look, we talk about this. We know the other side is in this fight for the long haul, Quang. We talk about it every single day. They've hijacked the language, and they've been very, very effective at it, Quang, over the years because they've had media help. Would you agree with me, and I opened up the program and you were listening, that we are in historic territory right now? I don't think we've ever had an opportunity that we have had right now to really nail this coffin shut. How do we do it? Okay, we're so close. A combination of what does it for us?
You know what? Complacency seems to be the biggest problem that we have within the Republican Party.
Can't disagree with that.
You ever notice that every time we have a Republican president, all of a sudden people stop buying ammo, and then the ammo price go back down. But when you have a Democrat president like the last one, the pricing of ammo and guns just ballooned, exploded. So the problem is complacency, and so I always tell people, we have 330 million people in the United States. Do we all have to be smart to get the space shuttle to fly into space? No, it takes 5 very bright people and a whole bunch of people that work at NASA to do whatever it is they need to do to get the space shuttle up. I'm saying the same thing about the Second Amendment. Unfortunately, because of complacency, we need those 5 people at the state legislature to actually actively kill these bad ideas. And I don't want to give my opponent anything, but my opponent's trying to get rid of me. But unfortunately, she will not be one of the 5 people to make the decision to defend the Second Amendment. That's what it's all about. People need to understand, look, you got to support leadership. You got to support the chairs. You got to support the people in position to defend the Second Amendment. This show is about the Second Amendment. It isn't about water or private property rights or any of that stuff, crap. I don't care. This show is all about, your show is about defending the Second Amendment. And if we don't get the right people in place to defend the Second Amendment, we are going to lose it. You're going to wake up one day and Arizona is, people going to come and collect all the firearms that have in
the
my
danger.
state because nothing. Yep, that's it. That's it. We're going to have chaos. We're going to have everything you can imagine. We're going to have Minnesota right here in Arizona. If I myself and another 10 people going away, and that's the danger of all of this.
Yeah, and that, ladies and gentlemen, what you just heard was, again, this fight goes back to the states. Look, the anti-gunners, give them whatever. They're not stupid, okay? They are politically astute. And because they've had the mainstream media on their side for so long, although, Quang, I am getting this sense, and I'm always optimistic about this stuff. I'm the eternal optimist, but I don't want to be overly optimistic here because that's what leads to complacency, all right? The two go hand in hand. But we are absolutely, no doubt, in a place historically that we've never been before. What I don't want, and you're right, there's a danger there, that leads to complacency. Oh, well, we got pro-gun administration. Look, let me give you an example. Since Trump's election, one of my local gun shops is down to 26 guns. This was just yesterday. I count them whenever I'm in. 26 guns in the case. It used to be 260 guns in the case. It's now 26 guns in the case. Now, there are economic reasons for that at this point. Ever since Biden's price just shot through the roof on everything we buy, and yeah, I said Biden, ladies and gentlemen, don't fall for the trap. It's not Trump, it's Biden. This all happened. Egg prices went up under Biden. Gas went up under Biden. It was cheaper or more expensive under Biden than it is under Trump. Go back and look at the averages. Don't fall for the mainstream media garbage. But ever since that happened, we've seen depression in sales because, well, Quang, in real life, unless you're insulated by having X amount of net worth where that inflation is not really going to impact you, people have slowed down their purchases. And when that happens, there's an effect. Holsters don't sell that much, right? Everything begins to drop. Ammo sales begin to drop, and the companies all feel that. So I've seen that in my local gun shop. Quang, does that concern you?
Oh, absolutely. You're talking about a huge amount. Did you know that one time somebody decided that they're going to run a bill to get rid of the sales tax on safes? And amazingly, when I did a study on that, I go to find out that Arizona pick up about $6 million a year just people buying safes, right? Everything will be affected. It is amazing. When you get rid of ammo, you get rid of guns. Game and Fish will not have the money, the excise tax, in order to run Game and Fish. So the hunting industry will be gone as well. And so people don't realize that everything is interconnected. You get rid of the Second Amendment, it's a disaster in every way. And then every day, now this I have not mentioned, Mark, is that every day I'm facing criminal justice reform bills. What do? They allow people to leave early. They allow people to go on probation early.
Recidivism.
And what do we do on top of that? We get rid of guns on top of that. How beautiful is that?
Yeah, so now you've got a
flip
double-headed dragon here, Quang. Now you've got more criminals on the street and a left that wants to take away your right and ability to be able to protect and defend yourself. This is why, folks.
Exactly right.
When we're in historic territory now's when you got to reach down, you got to tie your shoes. You got to get up and you got to fight it, okay? And that entails some really simple things to do. It's not hard to do this. Join your local organizations. We've been pushing AZCDL and VCDL right now for very obvious reasons. Very obvious reasons. We've got to stop the creep across the country. Virginia's already hurt. We don't want Arizona next because that will impact Georgia. That will impact Iowa. That will impact whatever state you live in, it will impact. All right? So we're getting ready to take a break. When we come back, I'm going to switch gears. We're going to go to Chirac. We're going to go to Chicago. What a mess. But what it does is hand us content to Quang. The Democrats just keep handing us content every single day. Sometimes you don't even have to prep for the show. I can just read you these numbers. And we're going to do that with Quang Nguyen when we come back. Because it's not just Chicago. Chicago highlights the utter failure of every single Democrat-run city and their mayors and policies across this great country. On a Memorial Day weekend, we've got one more segment to go with Quang Nguyen. Then you've got an encore coming up in the third hour because we gave the guys, the crew, the night off. We'll be back. One more segment with Quang. Don't go away. Guys, I can't help it. I have to show this guitar off one more time. I just got a couple text messages. Can you go back and show that guitar? Yeah, I'm going to do that because I'm going to give you a heads up. I will play this thing until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning tonight. You know, my wife and son were out of town for the weekend. They got back just today. They drove up to Ohio. And they did not have time, Greg, to stop and get me any Marion's Pizza, unfortunately. Guys, if you've ever been to the Dayton, Ohio area, you're familiar with Marion's Pizza. It's the best. It's very unique to Dayton. They will not expand outside of Dayton. I've asked a franchise. They will not do it. But anyway, I was cranking my guitars with a setup that I have using a Vox amp in the house, and my dog got used to it. You know, it was a little bit loud in the house. But I want to go back to this because I had a couple questions come out. This is the, again, we'll do another Marks with guitars. This is the Gibson ES335. There you go. Absolutely beautiful. Just gorgeous. And that's in the tobacco burst satin finish. And you can see how it's got kind of a dull finish. It's not the shiny nitro finish, but the light does it justice here on that satin finish. And one of the interesting things about the satin finish guitars is as you play them, and you get some usage up in here and particularly up and down the neck, they'll begin to shine up on you. But I happen to really enjoy the satin finish guitars. I think they're absolutely beautiful. They, as I said, they run about, this guitar runs, the Gibson ES335 started about $3,400, somewhere around there with the nitro finish, and go way up from there. You can pick them up for 30 grand. You can get very expensive.
30?
But the satin finish gets down to, it starts at about 3 grand, something like that. And these are, if I was given an opportunity to keep one guitar, this is the guitar I'm going to keep. It's absolutely wonderful. You play, you know what I'm talking about. We're coming back from the break right now, guys. One more segment to go with Quang Nguyen. So we'll just stay here live with you. Yeah, indeed. Welcome back. Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Attorneys on Retainer, hold it up. This segment, every hour of every show. It's that important. If you have made a decision to carry a firearm, put the lawyers in your pocket for $37 a month. Let me put it in perspective, and I'll move on because it's this simple. A good self-defense attorney is going to cost you a minimum of $1,000 an hour. $337 a month times 10, add another 2 months. Drop that, carry the one. You can do the math. If you're a liberal out there and can't, use your calculator. This is a no-brainer. Get it done. attorneysonretainer.us/AAR and save that $25, and it's $37 a month. The $25 is off the sign-up fee, and if you set your family up, it even comes down. So please, please, please take advantage of it. Over the course of the next week, you're going to be hearing us talk about a little different aspect because they've got some more cool stuff going on over at Attorneys on Retainer. We'll clue you in on that coming up this week on Armed American Radio's Daily Defense. You can find attorneysonretainer.us and all of our amazing sponsors, Patriot Supply. You can find that they're all there for you at armedamericanradio.com. And don't forget, Justin McNeil, South Dakota. We're talking politics. Justin needs our help. We've got to focus on the states right now. That's where the fight is. South Dakota, great state. We got to keep it red for our gun rights. It doesn't matter if you live there. Visit justinmcneil.com. It's MCNEAL, and support him. If you can throw $5 at him, please help him out. justinmcneil.com. And all of our fantastic sponsors, you can find them all at armedamericanradio.com. Quang Nguyen, welcome back. We've got you here for one more segment. Let's go to Chicago. Wow, this is really pathetic. It's kind of fun to do this. I've been doing this for 18 years, just abusing Chicago, Quang, because it's so easy to do. Let me give you some numbers, Quang.
How many shot this time?
This is as of 9 a.m. See, Quang knows where I'm going with this. He's no rookie here. As of 9 a.m., these numbers are going to update at 11 p.m. or midnight today. And remember, we've still got another day in the weekend. 20 wounded, 1 killed. I can promise you now that number is going to rise dramatically over the course of the next 24 hours. Another, I don't want to call it a mass shooting. It was gang related, but they're shooting each other in the streets. Go ahead, Quang.
You're such a negative guy. You are so negative. Can't you be optimistic? It could have been 22.
Okay, if you want to use that logic, we can go that way.
Yeah.
That's the same logic, Quang, in which I used to use Virginia or New Jersey as an example. How do you gauge success behind the blue wall? By how few crappy bills get through. That's success. That's not success. That's how few crappy bills get through. You just did that with Chicago.
Yep.
Well, let's be optimistic. It could have been 25. Guys, it's going to be 25. It's going to be higher than that as well. And you know, Quang, real quick, I want to mention something because it just popped in my head. I was looking at this before the break. The Kyle Busch deal at NASCAR, I was watching some of the race in Charlotte. I've been a NASCAR fan my whole life. And ladies and gentlemen, it's terrible. The NASCAR Nation and Armed American Radio have been great friends for many years. I've been blessed by God to meet some amazing people and call them my friends. I've been to a wedding at Richard Petty's house. I've watched his team members get married. I've participated in some of these races over there. I've sat in the crew box at a number of different teams, from the Wood brothers on down. And what happened to Kyle Busch, I've had the opportunity to meet Kyle Busch on more than one occasion in the garage. What happened is absolutely horrible. Yeah, it's terrible. So our hearts and prayers and thoughts are definitely with Kyle Busch and his family. Just an absolute terrible thing to have happen. All right, Quang, let's go now to Chicago. 20 killed. This is about more than just the murders in Chicago. This is about failure of policy and refusal, absolute, utter, defiant refusal to accept responsibility. The Democrats have run Chicago for over a century, and they fail to take responsibility for this, Quang. And why doesn't the media finally call this out? Why, and what is it going to take?
We should have a dedicated website. I don't know if there's a dedicated website to the city of Chicago.
There is. I'm on it right now.
It should be updated, at on Sunday at midnight.
It is.
But the argument, every time you mention Chicago, the argument, steers away from Chicago, from the left, obviously.
Yeah.
They have some of the strictest gun laws. They're bombastic to legal gun owners, and they face this kind of stuff. And two things they won't accept. They won't accept who's committing the crimes. They won't ever tell you that. And then on top of that, they will not tell you how strict they are, and yet these gun laws don't work. But they keep pushing it down our throat. I mean, look at Arizona. We don't have that many gun crimes. Yeah, we have gun crimes, but look, they're not committed by, legal gun owners. We have open carry, constitutional carry. We have everything. I mean, as a matter of fact, aren't we like number 95, tied for second on the list of state that are friendly to the Second Amendment?
Oh yeah,
Arizona's
you're ranked right up there in the top three.
My goal is to get to number one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my goal is to get us to number one. If we can just carry in post office and private business, and bars and.
Let me point this out, because you just mentioned post office. I'm glad you did that. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the importance of being a member of the Second Amendment Foundation. If you're an SAF member, Quang, as you and I are, you can carry in a post office.
Yes.
Okay?
Right.
So there's benefits to being members of these organizations when we win these lawsuits. If you're a member, you are a part of the plaintiff, ladies and gentlemen, that win the cases. You can carry, if you're an SAF member, you right now today can carry in a post office, open or concealed, depending on your state law. Now, I'm going to recommend you don't openly carry in a post office unless you're one of these First Amendment auditor type people that's just going to go out there and you're willing to go through the hassle. You're going to win it, but do you really want to go down that route? Just conceal the gun, go in, do what you do. Open carry, it's entirely up to you. I open carry everywhere I go, but I do conceal carry in a post office for that reason. Quang, go ahead.
Exactly. You're going to have some Karen calling the cops, on you, just like that. It doesn't matter where you're at. So I get it. I understand. But Chicago is a different animal. It's like they're not being recognized by the media. They're not being recognized by the left. They're not being recognized by the Gifford group, right? Or any of these groups at all. It's kind of funny from my office. Every now and then I look outside of my office down to the Rose Garden below. You see all these red shirts.
Yeah.
You take a quick glance.
Yep.
You think they're Republican gathering, right? You go down there and you realize that mom against whatever.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's laughable. I mean, even in the state of Arizona, I see it all the time. I stand on the floor to defend the Second Amendment and committed the whole. I look up in the gallery. all red shirts.
Yeah, they're there. I've been in that gallery. They were there when I was there. They were sitting next to me, over to the side of me. It is really remarkable to see. Quang, we're getting ready to take a break. Now, I'm going to tell you this right now, Quang. I know you've been with me for the hour, but I'm going to call you when the show is over. There's a couple things I want to run by you. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Quang Nguyen. He is the House Judiciary Chair in the amazing state of Arizona. I like to refer to Arizona as my second home. I just love it there. And Quang makes it so much better, because he's there fighting on our behalf every single day. Guys, do all of us a solid. Join your state's organizations. If you can find it in your heart, please join CCDL. It's $40 for the year. Join Virginia Citizens Defense League. It's $25 for the year. These two fights are absolutely critical right now. And you heard Holly Sullivan, my compatriot over at the Citizens Committee for the Right to Keep and Bear Arms, fellow board member. It's free to join CCDL. Just do it. Go put your name on the list. There's power in numbers. Guys, we're going to get an encore tomorrow. We'll be back live with you on Tuesday. Enjoy your day. Stay safe. I love each and every one of you. We'll see you on the radio. Thanks for being here. Hey, guys, thanks for being here today. Really important, if you would, if you're watching on YouTube, there's a lot more people watching than we thought there were going to be on Memorial Day. But please share, like, post, repost. And very important, if you're watching on YouTube, just hit the subscribe button. It's that simple. It doesn't cost you anything to do it. You don't get bombarded with crap. You get some really cool videos. And when news breaks and updates, we're going to get it to you right away. So help us over there, okay? Very, very important, and we need you to do that. Make sure to visit all of our great partners. I want to thank you for being here on a Memorial Day weekend. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, regardless of the weather. It's going to be a little rainy and crappy here tomorrow, but my ass is going to be grilling and chilling, okay? And I hope you're doing the same thing. And it's not really chilling or grilling now. It's going to be chilling, but playing a lot of guitar. Like this thing behind me is going to get a huge workout over the rest of the weekend on Monday. But do yourself solid. Take some downtime, right? My dad used to tell me when I first got out of college years ago, metaphorically speaking, he said, always take a lunch break. All right? So if you got the day off tomorrow, most of us do, enjoy it, relax, chill. It'll all be there for you on Tuesday, as much as I hate to say it, okay? No matter what you have going on in your life, it'll be there on Tuesday, all right? So take a break, barbecue something, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to smoke some pork and eat some great Southern barbecue, and I hope you're going to do the same thing. Whatever it is you do it loud, okay? Make a statement. Join these organizations. Pick up this Attorneys on Retainer card. Hit that subscribe button. It's real simple. We don't ask for a whole lot. We've been on the air for 18 years because of you, and if you want us here another 18 years, we need you, okay? We need you now more than ever. Thank you for being here. I love each and every one of you. It's what Reverend Ken Blanchard always likes to say. In case nobody's told you this yet today, I love you. There's not a damn thing you can do about it. Enjoy your day. Thanks for being here. Enjoy the encore. See you on the radio live on Tuesday. We'll have an encore for you tomorrow. Enjoy your day, guys. Thanks for being here.